What's going on, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Snapchat. We have a brand new season and I was gonna say brand new, Alex. I don't know what that means, but after getting back from PAX West, I'm sure you feel like a brand new man, buddy. How was it going out there? How was it seeing Dexter, the Snap meetup, and all?
Oh, it was fantastic, man. Like, there was a lot of positive energy, and it's crazy. Like, you've been to PAXs before with me, and the amount of times you get stopped for people saying hello and that they play Snap or they watch the Snapchat. I got a lot of, still watch the Snapchat, don't play Snap anymore, but love you guys. You know what I mean? It's so interesting how that works, and yeah, it was honestly fantastic. The Snap meetup was so great. It was first of all very nice to see like the people that play the game come up, and it was funny. Someone had brought like a whole bunch of different cards, and they asked me and Dexter to sign the one that I felt like I kind of identified with the most. And they had a whole bunch of different Marvel cards, and I ended up signing the multiple man because I feel like I, take on multiple roles in my life, and so it was kind of fun. And like, yeah, it was great talking to Glenn and the team and Brady as well. Like the entire team at Second Dinner is phenomenal. And actually, I have a couple things. So at that meetup, I was so surprised by someone who's in our community, watched the Snapchat, Dapper Dave, and they had come up to me and they said, "Hey, Alex, I have a gift for you." And I said, "What?" And they handed me Cozy this, and it's so heavy, it's huge. This is the omnibus. I'm trying to get it right.
Alpha Flight.
It's an Alpha Flight omnibus, and it is absolutely massive. I'm trying to get the camera right here. It's absolutely massive.
Oh my god!
It is all the comics featuring the Alpha Flight, and I can't wait to read it all. And it's so funny because I said I brought this book up to Glenn. I was like, "Glenn, look, Alpha Flight. We gotta have a season dedicated to Alpha Flight." And Glenn looks at me, right, and he's like, "All right, Alex, he's like, a season's 10 cards. He's like, "Can you name 10 cards from 10 heroes from Alpha Flight right now? We'll do the season." I was like, "Oh no, Sasquatch, Puck," and he's like,
I was gonna say, "There's no way."
I couldn't make it. I failed, guys.
Ten's a lot.
And then he's like, "Come on, Alex, Wolverine's an Alpha Flight too." I'm like, "Ah."
Dude, that's sick though. That's a good time. How was the meetup and all? Like having the whole room full of snappers.
It was actually fun, and it was great because everyone was like actually just excited to like talk about Snap and cards and stuff. And the Second Dinner team was like interacting with people asking questions. It was funny. I heard Glenn asking just like players that were there, like, what do they think about this card, or is this card too strong, or whatever, right? And it was kind of interesting. He actually asked, he said, "Hey, like, do you guys find like that Misery is like not OP or anything?" And I was like, "I don't know, right?" And he's like, "I think it's pretty good, to be honest with you." I was actually thinking to myself too, like, Misery is actually one of the low-key, silent, like, amazing cards of Snap right now, right? And it was so cool to see how they were like engaging with people, and everyone was super nice. And then while I was on the show floor at PAX, someone else, Jonathan, he was working the Capcom booth, and again, loves the Snapchat. He was looking for you as well. He gave me something really special. We're gonna do a live opening right now.
Okay.
This here it's the cards that you can only get in China.
Dude, I looked for these so much when I was there to try to get some of these to open up. Okay, dude, crack this up. How many is it? One? How many are in the pack?
It's sealed. I have no idea. It's sealed. I have not opened it. I'm going to open it right now, and I'm going to use scissors so I don't, should I use scissors? I'm going to use scissors just to make sure I don't damage anything.
Oh, dude.
I'm opening it right now for the first time, trying to put it on camera slightly.
Forget that arrow. Right. You're bringing that over for
Oh my gosh.
Twitch
I cut it in such a way where I didn't actually open it. Okay, I'm opening it right now. Let's see who it is. All right. I'm actually so nervous.
How many look like they're in there? Oh, okay. The camera's out of focus, but it's Cyclops for sure.
Come on, camera.
Oh, that's sick.
Get
dude.
it, camera.
They're like almost. It comes with the location too. That's so awesome. What the heck?
It's like a stand, and it's acrylic. It's like a hard plastic.
That's a good one to get too. Even though the cards okay, but that's man. I wish I would have found those, man. That was sick. Shout out to what was his name?
Jonathan. Oh, it comes with something else. Something else just fell out. Hold on. This just fell out too. So it's not just that. It was this small one too.
Oh, wait, there's more. That's cool, man. Look at that. Yeah, it's like a little pop out thing. Dude, that's perfect for like these shelves back here. I gotta get more of those, man. Or find any of them for that matter. Listen, I saw a lot of those. Where we're cozy, man. We are in the end game here for the the pregnancy, and I am a shell of a human. To paint the picture, I don't know why we decided to do this, but Alex, you have 20 kids, 25? How many?
Approximately, yeah, 25.
We decided to do potty training this week, bro. That's a whole level of difficulty. I've never like pressed start and changed the difficulty in life to what that's fun. I mean, that's a lot of. Do you remember the days, man? I'm sure you do.
Oh, I remember the days. I remember the days of potty training. We're working on potty training now, and it's so funny because like you basically have to pay them off for using the bathroom at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like
pure.
you get a stick.
Bribery.
Use the bathroom. You get a sticker. You get 5 stickers. You get a toy at the dollar store.
And it's like stuff you could only like imagine in the chaos of it all. So my son, he's still learning. Like number 1, he's got down. Number 2, we're working on it. We're working on number 2, right? So he does the deed. He's just pooping on the floor. So my wife's like, he's pooping, right? We got to clean it up. So she's cleaning it up, right? She's also cooking breakfast, right? So she's got the sausage cooking on the grill. So as she is pulling the shorts down, she gets poop on her hand, right? And it's you can't have poop on the hand. Never. I was going to say not for a pregnant woman. Never can have poop on the hand. She sprays the chemicals on the floor, okay, to clean up the stuff, but she's got to go wash the number 2 off her hand. So she yells at me, the sausage is burning, right? Sausage is burning. This is wood floor, Alex. I'm booking it. I'm doing my best 40 time for the stove, booking it, bro. When I hit that chemical on the floor that she did not get the chance to wipe up, I did the most Looney Tunes Cartoon Network slip, like slow motion land in the poop, and I was like, "This is being a dad. This is right here. This is why I'm not at PAX West." For those that's what I was doing over here in sunny San Diego. So yeah, man, just on the final countdown, I think this is the least amount of content for anything. I think Rivals, I've done 2 videos in a month, maybe 2 months or a month and a half. Snap, we're doing the Snapchat every other week. So it is quite the time, and I would have rather gone to PAX West, but man, I'm happy you guys had a good time. Dexter said he had a good time too.
Oh, it was great being with Dexter. Dexter's such a chill guy. Like he's one of those guys that you really like. Unlike me, you can't bring me anywhere, but you can bring Dexter anywhere. It was so funny. We were, and what I mean by that is, so like obviously you made fun of me for the fish tacos and stuff like that. So Dexter and we found a spot we really liked for sushi. So we got sushi for lunch twice. And while we were eating sushi, he's like, we can't, when we have dinners with other people, we can't go to sushi. I said, why? He's like, what are you doing? Right? I'm like, what? He's like, you're using a fork.
No,
he's like,
not for sushi, Alex. Not for
and
sushi.
like I kept dropping so I would get the sushi with a fork, and you know how like you have the soy sauce? It kept slipping off the fork and just completely submerging in the soy sauce. So I would like take it out and like try to like shake it off. He's like, yeah, we can't do this with people in public.
And Dexter's a foodie at that too. Like he's even above. He makes me feel bad when I'm eating food. He's like, how dare I rank somewhere 10 stars? And it was like, it was only a 2 in Dexter's book. He's a food snob. Dexter, you're a food snob. I know you're listening.
Yeah, it was honestly so awesome, and it was great. Like we spent a lot of time together, and again, he's such a chill dude. You know what? He loved a lot of the indie games he saw, and I think that like one of the small things that he did, which I really appreciated, was we went to a couple places where there was like it was pretty quiet, and you have like the indie developer playing their own game, right, waiting for someone to walk up. And Dexter did a great job of like kind of walking up, firing them up a little bit, playing their game, hyping them up. You know what I mean? Getting them ready for launch, stuff like that. Like it was nice. It was good to see. Like it was one of those things where like, he really did a good job of kind of engaging with the games he was playing, the indie teams he was kind of interacting with and stuff. It was really nice to see.
He's a gamer at heart, man. That guy, he's always playing, especially indie games. That man plays a lot of games. We'll see how that changes once his announcement. By the way, you saw his announcement.
I did. I'm well aware of the announcement. Yeah,
Dexter's gonna be. Dexter's joining the dad side over here, and me and Alex are just gonna feast on the enjoyment of watching this man become a father, both in the heart, but also just laughing because first dad pains is gonna hit like the streaming, trying to stream and be a dad. That's where it's gonna be fun. Me and Regis, we didn't last. Alex, I don't know how you're doing it, but we'll see where Dexter ends up.
Yeah, it's funny because like I've always joked about like. Had I been in my like 20s when I had like my YouTube pop off and all that kind of stuff, oh man, would I have been able to do so much more, right? It would have been a totally different ball game altogether. But now it's like even with PAX, I had to come home early because the kids start school and all this type of stuff, and like I start school, like I got to go to work, so it's like what I mean, like it's a totally different ball game for sure. And sometimes you have kids that don't sleep through the night, and you don't get to sleep, and
sometimes it's all the time, for sure.
I know, that's the truth.
But you get through it. I can't wait to repeat the cycle over here. But listen, man, we got a packed episode. We've got 9 minutes. Some comment guy out there who by 200 episodes has not grabbed the fact that we don't jump right into the snap talk. I mean, come on, we gotta let the meat settle. I don't know what I'm trying to say. What's something you let the weight go before you do it? I don't know what I'm saying. Come on, help me out. You gotta let the meat settle.
I'm also trying to figure out what you're saying. The dust settle, I think, is what you're referring to.
No. It's like when you wait for something. Yeah, it's like let the meat settle on the grill is what I was saying before.
I'm almost positive it's let the dust settle. I know that usually, I'm the guy who's wrong here, but I think you're wrong.
Well, it is the dust settle. It's just the meat can settle too. I don't know. I'm definitely wrong. Anyway, we've got Viv Vision, our new season pass card. Now, before we dive into her, quickly, August cards in review. We kind of already talked about whenever I did my cozy catch up. We had the Fallen one and we had the new Ghost Rider. So we talked about those two recently too. I guess Ghost Rider probably the best one to recap because we just had that last week, Alex. As this tech card that we thought would be plug and play, where do you think it finally ended up overall in its play?
I think he's good. I think that overall, if you want to kind of make a tech soup deck where you just make everyone hate you, he's a great addition to that. He doesn't stand on his own particularly well because it's very difficult and nearly impossible right now to use him as part of your own deck synergy. It's basically an FU card to your opponent, right? It's not a card that you can use. I had even when I was testing the card myself, I had this thought of okay, what if I have him? I have Red Guardian. What if I use White Widow? And what if I disable the Widow's Kiss so that it can't be destroyed anymore, right? So it's clogging, can't be destroyed, -4. And it was almost never in the front row for the thing to hit. It was never, people destroyed it before I could play Cosmic Ghost Rider. So that wasn't really a synergy worth utilizing. So there's that, right? And it's one of those cards that if you're going to play a tech soup deck, he's probably fine. But because he doesn't have any inherent synergy for what your deck wants to do, he might be one that sits at the wayside for a bit, despite being probably okay.
Yeah, my takeaway is we haven't really ever had a tech card. I mean, we do sometimes, but most tech cards, they kind of shine later in the season, right? Or later in the game. Red Guardian, I think, is the most apparent one. People were he's fine. And then obviously now it's become such an insane card. So tech cards in general, the longer they've been out, the more they kind of adapt well. Not only cards coming out, but also just in general is my takeaway.
I want to comment on that too, because a lot of people said streamers missed on Red Guardian and stuff like that. And I remember saying he was good, but you didn't have to FOMO into him or anything like that. But you also have to keep in mind that was at a time where we did not have the excessive power creep we've experienced on 2-cost cards. Red Guardian became a must play because of what we were seeing with Surge and Fanta at 2 costs and everything else that was happening, right? We had such an inflection of powerful 2-drops that you needed something to turn it off on the next turn, and that's where Red Guardian really started to pop off. But yeah, I mean, with tech cards, they always age like fine wine. They just always do because they just do.
And at the time too, I mean, what we were talking Dracula was one of the better things for Red Guardian. That was kind of where the meta was at whenever Red Guardian did come out. And so yeah, definitely things have shifted since then. But we do have a brand new season, Alex. And oh man, before we jump into the cards themselves, how do you feel about the cards overall? Have you seen them? Have you gone over them yet?
I have. And it's no, Cozy, I've not gone through it. I'm totally unprepared for this podcast, sir.
What's your thoughts on them? Yeah.
My thoughts are I think this season is significantly stronger than the last one. I think this is closer to the Fanta season, but I suspect the Fantastic Four season is probably better overall, in terms of its general power level. I think that Mr. Fantastic is better than Viv Vision, but I think Viv Vision is a banger.
Yeah, for sure. I think Fantastic Invisible Woman is hard to compare to that, but what I think was a cool call that you did is this is kind of a new Activate season in the sense of really giving it its new identity and a different way to play it. And so just into turn, you've got that shtick and you have strong cards. So I do agree. Let's start with Viv though, and I think it's no secret. Is this the 5-star? I mean, there's some really good cards to talk about, but this is the 5 for sure. Yeah. I think Viv is a very, very good card here. They already adjusted her from what we even saw back in Datamons a bit, but she is a 3/2 at this point, guys. 3 cost 2 power at the start of each turn. You're going to give all of your cards in your hand plus 1 power if you're winning here, which it's so funny. We called out the winning here forever ago on Iron Patriot. Now it's just on so many cards. It's such a common text place now because they can do a lot more with it. Otherwise, move this to another location, meaning Viv Vision. So, Alex, +1 to your entire hand starting at the beginning of turn 4 is pretty nuts, bro. That's a crazy benefit. That could work for all decks.
It's a fantastic benefit. And I think this card is exceptionally powerful. I think the move side is pretty interesting too, because if you don't trade, it could move into a location like Altar of Death, where your opponent can't contest it. It can go into Luke's Bar. It can go into Sanctorum. Like, people aren't really paying much attention to the fact that this has some ability to enter locations where it'll be uncontested. Right. The other thing I really like about it is that we've had this onslaught of really good tempo cards. Right. Like, you are able to try to, cleanly win and like lanes with Hydration Bobber. You got the new Black Cat. You're in a situation where you can try to put up as much power in those early turns to guarantee a proc or two on Viv Vision. Yeah. And if they happen to flip it, then it moves. It moves somewhere else, right? Which is kind of fascinating too. And the fact that it's at the start of every turn, not the end of every turn, means that on turn 6, when turn 6 rolls over, it buffs everything in your hand again. So it has like a little, that added versatility, right? Of like, oh, it's turn 6 and my cards just got juiced, which might make it good for some synergies I'm sure we're going to talk about in a sec.
Well, and we saw before, like, you can also force hands of someone to play somewhere they maybe weren't planning on. And going up to turn 3, you have a lot of time. I mean, the first 2 turns to set up what you're trying to do anyway. Plus, you also have we're seeing more and more cards. We just saw a Fallen one for just an easy example, like wanting that power. And we've talked about the more of those we're going to get, the better those cards get. There's plenty of cards, mainly, obviously, Surfer being just like not just because she's 3 cost, but also there's just Brood and Sebastian Shaw. Those are going to be cards that want to have that power. Dude, even things like, you were very high on her a long time ago, but Clea, right? So, like, a card that we've just been waiting to have something that can passively get things working for her, right? That's another one. So this is a very interesting case of having that plus power with not needing to do a lot besides winning the location, which is great. And then you also have the move part. So that's why it's just 2 for 1, man. I think she's going to be special.
There's a lot of things you mentioned there, and I want to talk about them all because I've been really thinking a lot about Viv Vision. First of all, Clea is a great call out. And Clea is unique in the sense because it can be in your hand, generating the value without being on the field of play, which is really unique in Snap. We don't have a lot of cards that do that, right? Clea is unique from that standpoint. One thing about Surfer, now obviously you're talking to the dude that wants Surfer, like if it's a 3-drop, if it's not even a 3-drop, if I can get anything in Surfer, I'm going to try and do it. The thing with Viv Vision that I'll mention is that Surfer traditionally does not pay much attention to turns 1 and 2. And so as a result, there might be situations where Viv Vision doesn't actually get those procs off. Like, if you think about this and compare it to adding Nakia to a Silver Surfer deck, Nakia has 1 additional power, guarantees the proc, right? Which is cool. However, the thing is that you have to readjust what Silver Surfer looks like, because traditionally Silver Surfer was no 1-drop, 2 2-drops, and then the rest is either 3 drops, and then you have Galactic Gwenpool and or Sarah if you want. So if you're going to make a new Surfer deck, you're going to want something that competes, and you're going to want something that puts power on turns 1 and 2. So is there a chance, and I'm not saying this is the correct call, but is there a chance where you have something like a Quicksilver Domino style deck that allows Viv Vision to pump the hand? You're likely, of course, because you're playing Surfer, to draw into turn 3. Could you do like a Silver Surfer Wiccan variant? I was thinking about that. What would Silver Surfer in a Wiccan deck look like? And I think that Viv Vision might activate that, because Viv Vision will allow you to buff Brood. It'll allow you to buff Sebastian Shaw. And not only that, but I think there's another card later on that we'll be able to talk about related to Surfer 2. And when you add that in there, all of a sudden, I think you have this new take on what Surfers look like. Now, of course, I'm not saying you need to run Wiccan. I'm just saying that was an idea I had, because you're going to be doing the Domino Quicksilver. And you might be thinking, Alex, why would you play Domino? Why don't you play all these other 2-drops? And you absolutely can do that. But Domino still represents 4 power. And you can play Viv Vision on top of that. And so, yeah, I was just thinking about that and wondering how Viv Vision can be played in a new style of Silver Surfer deck. And I think that it's one that wants initiative and wants a more aggressive turn 1 and 2.
It's crazy to think how long kind of a base Surfer build has been and how hard it is to change that build, right? Like, it's just been, we've had such the same staple format. And every now and then we get cards that can fit in there and they fit okay in there. But yeah, it's a good point with it. Like, even looking at, I think what's great about this card is you look at the +1, which makes her work in quite literally most play, right? Because 3-2 doesn't matter. I mean, she's really helping out the rest of your turns and just flow. But also on top of that, even, and I don't think the move thing's nice for her. I don't think you're going to want to do like, I mean, you could maybe get away with like Hydra Stomper, Craven, whatever. Like, you could do stuff like that, sure. I don't know if that's going to be like her true shining spot. I think you can make that work. I like her a bit better on the ladder of what we've been talking about with the plus power cards, especially when we get into some of the other ones we're about to talk about here. But it's going to be interesting if she can change kind of how Surfer plays and if it can stick better. Either way, though, she's just going to be good in Surfer at the base build because of Shaw, because of Brood, having these cards with the synergy already,
With regards to the movement, I did give that a lot of thought, and I was like, okay, Hydra Stomper. The thing with Hydra Stomper is if Viv Vision's moving everywhere, that means you're not winning locations, right? And so she's not proccing the effect, which is what you kind of want. So I was like, okay. But I did think that like Batroc, the Leaper, could be interesting because if Viv moves, he goes with her and gets buffed to then almost guarantee the proc on that next turn because you've added so much power to another location, right? And I wonder, like, okay, can you make a Surfer deck where you have Batroc in there? And could you do something with the new Human Torch? And could you do something with Silver Surfer not Silver Surfer First Steps? Could you do something with Human Torch First Steps? And all this stuff, and then have Batroc move with Vision and Viv Vision, of course. Anyways, all of it's theoretical. I'm still working on some of the details here, but I do think this is a particularly well-designed card. I think it's going to be a competitive card. I would be extremely shocked if it was not in competitive deck. Oh my God.
Whoa,
I have to edit that one. Maybe you'll just leave that in.
Good.
Just leave that in.
Good. Too good. Competitive deck. Yeah, go ahead, though.
You'll have to leave it in competitive decks. So we're feeding engagement at this point. You have to kind of get her in decks, and then, of course, I think she's going to be performing well because she's just going to be strong. And I feel like she doesn't have the wide range applicability that something like Hope Summers did, where Hope Summers, like, I felt like I can go in literally anything. Viv Vision's not that, but you said it right at the start, we've had so many decks and so many new cards that really want to play with initiative, like Iron Patriot, right, and everything like that. So yeah, I like this card a lot. I'd be shocked if it wasn't meta relevant.
Yeah, I think she'll definitely be involved in those decks. There's no way around it. And on top of just helping other ones really boost, at a baseline level, and that's what we've seen from these cards. Perhaps maybe you can even use the next card to help boost some of that movement and or into, good God, just the things you need to put together to make it work perfectly. But we've got Sparky, the new premium pass card. Now, we did want to shout out Second Dinner. They have changed where the season premium card is going to go right into the packs now. And then if you get the premium pass, you're now going to get a variant of the card. So you've got, it's a pretty good variant, I'm going to be honest.
It's a good variant.
Giving some good Scooby-Doo vibes. Who doesn't like the animal cards in the game? We got Sparky, who's a 2/1. Activate. Give your card that last moved plus 3 power and move it back to its previous location. So it's an activate. You do get the plus 3. And Sparky is definitely interesting. I feel like we've been here with some move cards before. Where we get like, okay, there's so much that you can do with it. Will it work out? What do you think in star rating?
Star rating wise, first, did we get a star rating from you on Viv Vision? Because I said 5, and I think you agreed, but I don't think you explicitly said it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I just, for my notes, just in case we got to go back to that.
Course,
you know what I mean? A couple things worth mentioning about Sparky. First of all, yeah, the way they kind of modified the way that it goes into the packs, I think they deserve credit for that. They did bump them up from a Series 4 to a Series 5, though. So it's like you get a big step forward, then like a little step back in some degree there. I think it's worth mentioning with that because the Super Premium Season Pass prior was Series 4. But I mean, this is overall a win for the community. This is overall a much better thing, but it is worth mentioning. And if you are someone who buys a Super Premium Season Pass, you get the variant, which should automatically unlock the base. So for someone like me who just buys a Super Premium just because I always have, even for just the cosmetics, and this was before they even added a card to it, it's cool because for me, it's like I'll pay the extra money and I'll save that 6,000 tokens or the 5,000 tokens, and because everything's just expensive, and so if you can min-max it, go for it, right? Sparky, I'm going with a firm 4 stars. This is a card that I'm actually kind of scared of. I think this might be a silent, absolute crazy card, and I wonder if this is actually the 5-star of the month, and I'll explain why. I think that they've been doing a lot of stuff to improve move specifically. And I think that they've been really trying to rearrange move, not only for Viv Vision, but I think specifically for Sparky. I think the Viv Vision is like a move adjacent card, but not really actually a move card. But if you think about what you can do with Sparky at a 2 cost, dude, it's crazy. I don't want to steal all your thunder. I'll let you kind of chime in here, but I think Sparky might low-key be absolutely fire.
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking he'd be just because of the way move works in general. I will say you are correct. Like if someone has been gone for 6 months, comes back to snap, they don't realize how many little pieces of activating this guy, let's say on late turn, right? And then you have Zorn or what, you have things set up that can really just boost that one card into going some crazy stuff. I just feel like overall, I'm not sold on him being that. I was actually going to go more towards 3.5 area in all. But there's been a lot of movement cards, and so I can see him going and popping off like crazy. Clearly, there's so many cards that are just going to love to have the +3 on top of moving back to its previous location. I mean, that's just such a twofold thing that you can do. It being activated is just the cherry on top. So I'm going to go... I feel like I'm always the one that likes the move cards too much. They never end up where I kind of like them. But it being 2-1 at activate, I do see why you like it there. And I think there's definitely some cases. You just brought up even something like multiple man, human torch. Those things are going to cook with this. But yeah, where's your head going to make it 5?
I didn't make it a 5. I said a 4.
If you no, sorry, that it could be it has the potential.
Oh, like that's the ceiling on it, basically. Yeah. Okay. So basically, the reason why I think Sparky might be legit is because I was looking at. I think that activate in this case is a superpower.
Yeah.
Activate sometimes can be a little like difficult to play around with. If you think about a board state, and this again, I'm not like an avid move player, admittedly, right? So like, you know, my lines might not be as optimal as someone who just plays move all day long. But if I just think about something like a dream line of like, you have Aranya, you have Sparky, and then you have the new Human Torch, right? The way that should work is that you should be able to activate Aranya, play the Human Torch, activate Sparky. The Human Torch would have been the last card to have moved. You'll move that Human Torch twice with the Sparky and the Aranya while adding power. And that in and of itself is crazy because you can like, and if I kind of like messed up the order a bit there, I mean, we're not,
no,
whatever.
I think
but
you
like,
said it right. Yeah.
I think I said it right. But long story short, it's like you're able to use the activate to stack the movement in such a way where you can chain together these massive movements on a card that now doubles. Like, think about that change to Human Torch and the fact that this adds +3 power. We've never had a card in Marvel Snap add +3 power without it getting nerfed, essentially. And there's going to be some examples, but...
I agree. The only thing I'd almost go the multiple man route only because I don't like the chance of Torch going in a lane I didn't need him, and or like there's so many things that I'm not gonna say can go wrong, but that's the problem. Like you get a lot of power in that card. Do you even need all that, right? Whereas multiple man, it's like you do the Aranya into the +3 here, and then you're starting to get like multiple man staying where he was, going to a new one, and I like that finish a little bit more because of the randomness being away. It's not as high and as sexy, but that's probably why I had my scare on him was because of that whole, like, you can't really choose where he goes, and you can set it up beforehand. You have to have the right combos and cards. But yes, it does have that crazy pop behind it.
And I actually wonder how this would work with Viv Vision, because if Viv Vision moves after losing, you activate this, it'll move back to its prior location, and then it'll start the turn, win the one it moved to, probably, maybe, right? Because it moved one it lost from, maybe it moves to one it wins from, and then it'll fly back with +3 power to the other one. And so all of a sudden, Viv Vision becomes this moving, like, almost feels like a Phoenix Force, where it's like you're trying to track it as it moves across the battlefield back and forth. I don't know. I think that Sparky, once it's in the hands of like a true like move expert, which admittedly, as I said, I'm not, could find some very powerful lines. And that +3 power plus a move activation is particularly strong. And we're not even talking about stuff like Topaz and Fanfei and everything that has been added to the game thus far.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having Topaz down and having like, you can have a lot of pre-setup that can make this work. Ultimately, how much is the payoff? What do you have to do? That's, you know, that's where my hesitation comes in. But yeah, I do think Sparky definitely has a shot to do something pretty crazy and move, as we've seen, has continued to go up and up in different builds, different shells. Moving on from Sparky, Alex, we have what's the next one? Give me the order here.
Moira X, I believe.
Moira X is that's what I have on the list here. Okay, Moira X, guys, 1 cost, 2 power card. Alex and I talked a lot about 1 cost last week, and kind of like we've had the hood there for a long time. There's a couple cards that have been crowned as the king and queens of 1 cost. Can anything come in and shake it up? A couple interesting ones this season. When this is destroyed, get a copy of your opening hand. And man, I think this is such a cool card. I think this is a very fun card, and I like the setup capabilities of it. I don't know how great it'll be. You know, I think the opening hand thing, there's a lot of randomness to it, and by then I don't know if you absolutely need that. I think there's gonna be some cool combos you can pull off, but I think it's awesome to pull something together with like a Quinjet, Victoria hand is copied too. So like all that stuff is kind of cool.
It is cool. There's a couple things that like really jump to mind. First of all, this is one of the card arts that I looked at and had to double take because I was like, this doesn't make sense because Moira's a scientist, right? Now I've watched enough, X-Men to know that Moira and Professor Xavier have some sort of long-lasting interaction. And I'm just like, what kind of scientist walks to their wardrobe, says, give me the rogue, throws on the jumpsuit, and is like, I need the trench coat too. And then throws the trench coat on top. Like, what is going on with this art? Like, what is she wearing? Like, I know that, like, I'm not, like, I literally have, like, the dad shorts and the Costco socks and stuff like that, but I feel like my get-ups make more sense than this one.
It is quite the superhero get-up. I feel like it's like two uniforms in one over here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a mashup of uniforms.
It's like the Clark Kent trying to, like, blend in. But Clark Kent trying to blend in and, like, but everyone knows it's him. It's like, oh, I'm just a regular person. It's like, why are you wearing that underneath then? You know, what are you doing? As a card though, I think it's just it's gonna be a fun combo piece. I don't know. I'm not sold. Is there what is the combo I'm missing? Because I'm not sold that this is gonna be too crazy.
So star rating, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
I don't like doing 0.5s. I'm thinking 2s. But the thing is there's other cards coming out that we're going to be talking about next, which I think this card and the next one might give Victoria Hand enough of an infusion of potential power that those whole decks might rise and Moira might be a part there. So it's hard. I see a floor of 2. I see a ceiling of like maybe in the 3 range. I don't know. This card's one of the ones I've had a harder time wrapping my mind around because you're also getting your opening hand back. So that might be cool, but like, it's not the same as drawing through your deck, right? Like you're getting cards that you might have already used back, and like, do you need Black Cat again? You know what I mean? Like and also you have to destroy it. Like this has the same problem as like combo pieces like Elixir and Airwalker and all those things where it's like you just can't like put it down. The only major synergy I see, sorry, Kate, I'll let you go, then I'll talk synergy.
No, I was just going to say, if it was like activate, this destroys itself and you get a copy of your opening hand, like if it had that self-implode thing, like then I would actually really like it because it's like this, like maybe you don't draw what you want, whatever, right? Like you're able to start cooking up. But yeah, then it's like you have to hybrid your deck enough to blend into the combo piece to make it work. You can't try too many sexy synergies at once. And so that is probably where mine lies. I think 2 is right. I don't even think 2.5. I think 2 is probably about fair.
This is so funny. This is such a random thought I had when you said that about like self-imploding. I'm like, what kind of Marvel character would probably work best as like a self-implosion card?
Okay.
And then I don't know why, but South Park came to mind. And I thought like, imagine there was like a South Park Marvel Snap crossover and there was a card called Kenny. And you know, it's like, oh my God, they killed Kenny, and then it implodes, and then like implode and create a new card, and the new card comes out, and it yells, "You bastards!" as it runs, as like the new card hits the thing. I think that would have been funny. Anyways, that's my contribution to the Snapchat there. So, okay, I've been thinking a lot about this card because, like, I don't like coming in with, like, a very lukewarm, like, I don't really know thing because this is a podcast a lot of people listen to and we got to do our research, damn it. But, like, so you have LDS that can activate this, you have Skillmonger that can activate this, but, like, we actually joked about it prior, like, Misery, right? Like, Misery can't activate this because it's not on reveal. So, like, Misery is kind of the king of those decks right now, and that can't really go there. So I kept trying to figure out, like, who's the deck? Like, where's the deck? This might be Cope. But I want to throw a Dormammu for a second. Dormammu can destroy this, right? So like you can get the destroy 2 cards thing to summon Dormammu. What if Dormammu was in your opening hand? Like I don't know. I don't know the answer.
That's
like will you replicate Dormammu and then summon multiple Dormammais?
Dormammais, the plural version of Dormammu that everyone of course knows. That's interesting. I like that take. Like, but the only thing I was cooking up was like kind of like, I don't know, the death Killmonger. By the way, I love how you said LDS and Skillmonger. Like if someone's new to Snap, they like you just talked like a different language to them. Lady Deathstrike and Killmonger. But yeah, if like the classic death deck with the ones, I thought this was kind of cool because you have the ones anyway that are cheap, and then you can like kind of like really abuse like some of the power there potentially if you can line it up right, and then you're able to destroy that without even trying. I think that's kind of a cool thing. You get the offense defense going. Death, maybe death is in the opening deck, so then you get 2 deaths. And then you can play both in there. I don't know. That's the only one I thought that would be kind of like a fun way to play it. But yes, the Dormammi's, that is a strong possibility. But I still think 2 is probably where I land.
But the other thing is, though, is like, think about, first of all, this feels, I don't want to say it's power creep on Moon Girl, because Moon Girl doesn't require an additional activation, and you can control what's in your hand with Moon Girl to some extent, whereas Moira can't. The only thing I'll say, though, is think about Victoria and Collector. Collector gets juiced with this, right? It's pretty cool what Collector can do. And what if Moira starts in your opening hand and you destroy Moira? Does Moira come back? I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. So then you can...
Okay.
Or
that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's not... I don't hate it.
I was trying to lean into stuff for this card. Is this Mad Thinker cope? Like, can you fill your hand by replicating your opening hand and have Mad Thinker in it, then have multiple Mad Thinkers proccing up?
No, don't make Mad Thinker.
Okay, it's too stupid?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not too stupid. I just don't think I just don't think you'll play it. You know, I think it can happen. I think it can happen. Yeah, but I'm not sure if you can play it. But I like what you're cooking up. I do think Victoria Hand is not a bad shot, though. I think that if you're able to like have the perfect lines, that you can have some pretty crazy things, even with maybe even Collector or what have you. Next up, though, bro, this is a big one for those that have watched a certain series over here. Alex, I'll let you read it off.
4/3, Bastion. On reveal, add copies of your other cards here to your hand. Set their cost to 2 and their power to 3.
Bastion is coming to the game, and a lot of potential Cerebro love, by the way, this season. Don't know if you picked up on that. Bastion, dude, that's a fun ability. Like that is right there where you look at the fun and the power level. And I think he's definitely interesting. I think he's good. I like this card a lot, man. I'll probably go towards the 4. I'll probably settle at 4.
So in the X-Men animated series, this is the guy that makes the Sentinels, right?
Yeah, bro. Have you finished the show?
Which one? The new one?
Yeah.
I'm on like the last 2 episodes of X-Men.
Watch that.
Watch that first. Okay, because I wasn't sure. Like, isn't the original one? Is this the guy that beefed with what's it called? Apocalypse.
Yes.
Are they the same guy?
Yep.
Same guy. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Okay. When I saw him, like, is this the guy from the Apocalypse? Anyways, so Bastion, this is another card that like I'm kind of like I have a bit of a range on. I feel like this is a firm. I was gonna say 3.5. I could see this hitting 4 maybe.
Okay.
I don't want to say 4, but I see the upside. First of all, I like the idea of setting a 2/3, which is a general good stat line for cards like this. But the fact that it's a 4/3 is painful for anything outside of Cerebro, right? Like it's a really awful stat line. And I think that makes it difficult.
I think he will fit in well in the decks that he's supposed to be in, and outside of that, it is too much commitment for the 4 cost. I do agree there. I think I give him the 4 for how I think he'll settle into those decks, but you're right. Anytime we've seen this so many times before, it's like this card that's over commitment on 4, and you have to have like really perfect things kind of happen for it to end up working the way it should and would. That being said, too, a lot of knobs to adjust here on the card, which I like if he doesn't quite land there. But I just think there's enough cards to capitalize it and creativity. I think this is gonna be a really fun release week card to see what people cook up, because he's got a lot of juice to him, and yeah, Cerebro being one of them for sure, obviously.
Yeah, and one thing I will mention is I do like, so we have a lot of hand generation here, right? So we had the Moira. Now, Moira, while it is going to generate stuff from your deck, it is random in a sense because you can't control what's in your opening hand. If you could, that would be pretty overpowered. So, now you have Bastion. Bastion, you can control what you copy, right? Because you're playing it onto that location. However, it's also very reliant on card draw. If you don't draw, like for instance, getting a Cerebro down on 3 is cool because you can Bastion that Cerebro 3. Cerebro becomes a 2/3 that buffs itself and also doubles the Cerebro effect. That is really cool. And it almost removes the need for Mystique in a deck like that, right? However, what if you don't draw Cerebro by turn 3? Like think about the other stuff you're playing in a deck like that. They will already likely have their power set to 3. And the other thing is you're playing this on 4. So something you play on turn 1 might be a 1/3 or whatever, right?
2/3.
Something you play on 2 might be a 2/3. So do you play it on turn 5 after you sneak out an Iron Man or something? Like, you know what I mean? It's the lines I think are tricky with it. I see the Cerebro one, but it's everywhere else where I have some question marks. And in the comments, if you guys have some beautiful strat, let us know because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to C3, like the only cars that because if you look at like what you could get cheaper if it's not Cerebro, I think that's one of the issues. Like you can maybe get like a little bit of a cheaper like Negasonic, maybe a little cheaper Cosmo, whatever, Cosmo, something like that. But for the most part, you're right. I don't know if that will line up all the time. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe 4 is probably too high. I do feel like that is probably too high, though. I do. I think I agree with you now. I think the problem is where he'll work outside of certain decks. I think, by the way, Cerebro is just one of them. But
yeah, of course. I was just gonna say, people in the comments are probably like, "Yo, are you missing obviously the Victoria hand decks?" Like,
yeah, right. That has the hesitancy is some of the card draw and it being 4, just in general 4-3 though. I don't know, man. I think he's got a shot, but maybe he is towards more 3.5 than 4.
we kind of said it like a joke, but realistically, Victoria hand, like if you so much as copy Quinjet Victoria hand, like that's a lot. Like Quinjet 2-3 Victoria hand, well, yeah, whatever. Victoria hand becomes a 2-3 in your hand, but you get a second hand, right? The way I said the sentence is so awkward. You get a second Victoria hand, right? And then you could like play them together, and then you could Moonstone, right? Like think about it. Like then all of a sudden things are popping off. Like, so there is potential in the Victoria hand stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, especially with the Moonstone doubling or the doubling. But then if you're playing Bastion, like when you play Moonstone, double, and then you got to get stuff on the field to play. But then you got the Quinjet effect happening, so everything's cheaper. I don't know, man. It's possible.
He might get hit with that 13th card in a 12th card deck feeling, and that could be his fate. But time will tell with him. Next up, Alex, is it Human Torch, right? Another Human Torch.
Jim Hammond, the Human Torch.
I can't believe we have yet another Human. We're just getting flooded with them. Jim Hammond, Human Torch. We got another 1 cost, 2 power card at the start of each turn, plus 1 power for each bonus energy you have. And I'm not saying like Mad Thinker's not a great card. I'm not saying some of these ones that, you know, you can get scaling power. They've been trying to make it work. It hasn't really worked thus far. I don't know. I think, you know, Fallen One, I'm just saying you can cook up Fallen One and probably get this guy to really cool scaling stuff. And there's a card, obviously, that we'll talk about in a moment that's going to help this a tad bit too. 1-2 going to 1-5. I mean, I think you can get the average synergy in the deck. He's super narrow. So that's obviously a concern.
I think this card's Flaming Feces.
Yeah, I mean, Flaming Feces that's a statement. That's a feces on, poop on, shit on. What does he say? What's his tagline?
I have no idea what he's going to yell, but this is also, and I realized I was looking at this, is this the reason why they moved the Human Torch to 3 cost? Like, is this why? Like, let's be honest. But then we have another 3 cost Human Torch. There's too many freaking Human Torches.
Too many Human Torches.
There's one thing. So I actually had written down the Fallen One too, and then as you were saying that, I was thinking, I don't know if the Fallen One counts as extra energy. Because it says, Fallen One's text says set, right? Whereas like Luna Snow adds energy to the turn.
Okay.
Wiccan adds energy to the turn. I don't know if Fallen One adds energy to the turn. I'm actually not sure. I don't know how that interaction would work. I wish I should have asked Glenn before this. I actually don't know. Because that would be cool. Like we joked about it. Like we joked about last week how like my broski got 41 energy on the Human Torch would like that, right? And he would absolutely absorb that. But I don't know if setting is the same as bonus energy.
Yeah, that's the beautiful. That's the beauty of the old figuring out the text in Marvel Snap. Yeah, I mean if that doesn't work, then that definitely hurts a little bit. Again, I think he is too. Like I said, he's narrow in those decks anyway. Those decks have other options to play at them. I think he can go above and get some decent lines going if you happen to pull things the right way. I do think he's the weakest of the season, though, for sure.
Yeah, he's like a 1-2 for me. Like I can't. I don't think this is a card worth chasing unless there's an obvious synergy we're missing. Airsham, I think, has potential here. Like Airsham, turn 3, extra power consistently. Like Airsham's extra power. And so that'll work. And this will just be free real estate there, which is kind of cool. Wiccan, obviously. But the thing with Wiccan is, like, do you really want to play a Wiccan deck without Quicksilver? Like, you actually, if you play Jim Hammond, that means you're playing a bunch of 1-drops. Right? Yeah. Like you got to do the math on how many 1-drops you're going to play. Like if you're playing Wiccan, you would usually play Wiccan and then minimum 4 2-drops if you're not playing Domino. 4 2-drops at a minimum to try to get that effect running. But like, we had so many good 2-drops it didn't matter. We had Fanta, Surge, everything like that. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't see this being a good card.
I'm going to say 2. I think the
Maybe
one,
1-2.
I think if he was gonna be super bad, he'd be like a 1-3 as his start out, and then maybe Glenn made him 1-2 because there's a couple decks where he might have his shot. I'm gonna go 2 on him. I think there is a world, but that is based on the Fallen one. That is based on the Fallen one.
Yeah, I agree. And we don't know if the Fallen one's going to work with him. Like, that's one of those things we don't have clarification on. This might be one of those cards that when the week 4 this card comes, if Jim Hammond is coming, we are able to get more clarification from Second Dinner's team. People are going to ask questions, team answers, stuff like that. And so we might be able to adjust. We will be able to adjust our scores and rankings at that point. But if it is like we think it is now, especially if Fallen 1 does not count as extra energy, I would be very concerned with this card. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've got some really good ones to talk about. There's so many cards that come out in the season now. It's crazy. My God.
Yeah,
Warlock is one of them, though. First of all, just pure nightmare fuel right here, guys. 3/3. Good God. This is something. Activate, Alex. For each unspent energy, give a card in your hand -1 cost. Dude, I'm all about this card. I think this is such a cool design. Love that your opponent doesn't know what's going on. Love that you have the ability and choice to use it when you need to go into it. Something like on a turn 4, turn 5. Turn 5 is crazy going into turn 6 and just really surprising your opponent. Yeah, it's activate, but it's a 3. Dude, this is a 4.5 to me.
I'm near 4.5. So the concern I have I'm going to go 4. I love this card. I think this is a really cool card. It's just playing it. The activate here is tricky because you definitely want it down on turn 4. It's not the kind of card that you want on turn 5 either, right? Because it's going to your hand, and therefore you want to be able to activate on turn 5, which means it has to be out on turn 4.
Yeah.
So its window is even tighter than most, right? Because you want to discount your hand going into the final turn. So even though it's a 3, like some 3s you can get away with playing on 5. Like at most activate cards, you got to get out by 5, right? But this one you got to get out by 4. Yeah. Because if it's not on the field to play by 5, you can't pump your hand for turn 6, right? Because pumping your hand after you play cards. So yeah, that was one little nuance where I was like, oh man, I love this card, but it does have a smaller window than most activates. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think in the worlds of just playing a Magic old She-Not deck with Sunspot, to me, I just think it's because that deck is so cool and so strong anyway. And the fact that you can play that down, go with the Warlock and skip to get the She-Hulk down anyway, play the Infinauts, have all the bonus. Bro, this thing would go crazy in that deck. And then you could have Magic to give it a little bit more room too. So like maybe you don't pull it in time. Well, you got to pull some cards. Maybe that's Magic, and then you can play that out to extend it.
Cozy, did you know that in a tournament,
there it is.
I played a She-Not deck featuring Kang?
Did you really?
Did you really? I had to bring it up. It was just too funny. But what I thought is actually, I don't think those decks play Magic. I was thinking a lot about this. I was thinking about how, like, She-Not specifically, one of the challenges those decks had was that if you float 5 energy on turn 5, the She-Hulk's always still 1. You can never combo She-Hulk with Infinite. Now, you would be able to kind of get around that with Luna Snow, with Hope Summers, and like there was ways to kind of juggle around that. What I find interesting with Warlock is if you have a line where you play like on turn 1, you play the Sunspot. Turn 2, you play, Bruce Banner. Turn 3, you throw down Warlock. Turn 4, you throw down Cyclops, pew pew. Turn 5, you full skip, pew pew. Warlock does the thing. It's probable that your She-Hulk will actually get hit by one of these procs and go to 0 cost, right? Allowing you to sneak her out with anything else. But moreover, let's say she doesn't get hit. If Infinite gets hit, it's now 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I thought that worked. But there was, I'm telling you, bro, back in the day, remember the Psylocke? You would do like Psylocke, you would have Psylocke in this deck too, because you'd have the chance to get the 6 energy on 5 as your alternate play, and then getting 2 of those could kind of cook too, and then you would do some tech cards in there. Like that was such a fun deck with Magic back in the She-Not days as like an alternate plan that you would run. And then you were kind of on this, like, you were like this defensive built deck, right? Because you have your opponent kind of throw out everything that they have. And then that deck used to run Moon Girl sometimes. Like, it was a weird kind of cook of a deck. But I feel like I would definitely throw in, but potentially even Jennifer Kale. Heck, hell, maybe you throw in the freaking Human Torch we just talked about. But having Psylocke to be able to help get that energy, and then you're really helping yourself out. But that's even if Warlock just doesn't come on curve, and then you can do the thing anyway.
I like that call. And actually, the Moon Girl version, I believe I played as Snappy Claws, if I can remember correctly.
A lot of lore on this episode.
I was thinking there, Psylocke, I think, I know exactly what you're talking about. I wonder if Psylocke in 2025 in that type of deck is replaced with Jennifer Kale.
Or
because
both.
Jennifer Kale's, yeah, or both, I guess. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. And then it's just like, can you get the cards? Because then you really need She-Not or Infinite. What's that stupid-ass card? Oh, Thunderbolt Ross. You even throw that guy in there, bro. Make sure you get your cards you need. No, I think there's obviously that deck. Why it's so cool is the win line is so small. Like there's just a couple of cards that make that win. So there's a lot of experimentation you can do in that deck. Like there's a lot of flexibility. I think Warlock would fit right into that. But I do agree. Outside of that deck, he's just a bit harder to pull off. You only have a couple turns. He is a 3/3, but yes, tough to make happen.
One thing I will say as well is that I think Warlock, and I'm not sure if this will precisely work, but with Viv Vision, I wonder if Warlock could be an alternate Sarah card.
Yes, and Surfer,
like
100%.
Instead of what does Silver Surfer look like if you skip turn 5, or not even skip turn 5? Like you skip it, but what if you just play a card on turn 5, play a 3-drop? You're still floating 2, and you're still discounting 2. Is that enough? You know what I mean?
For sure, and it's not next turn they're -1 cost. Like you could get that out and try to make that work as quick as possible. I think it's completely fine. Hell, we used to run a Rogue and Surfer, and then if it was just like an empty card, it's like, obviously that doesn't work anymore. There's too much power creep. But you could just buff up you at least had something to do with the buff up there. 3/3 as the pure minimum stat line is not awful, and in Surfer, you're guaranteed to have other plays anyway. So it's like you get them on curve, you're really cooking on turn 6.
The way I was thinking about it, now obviously Sarah's 5 power being applied to the board. So you add 5 power to the board, and essentially in Silver Surfer, you're discounting your board state by 3. Because each card, you're playing 3 2-drops, so you get 3 extra energy essentially on turn 6. Warlock is technically 5 extra energy. Or you play a 2-drop and you get 3 extra energy. However, it's randomly hitting cards. So you can't, like Sarah's a guaranteed 1 discount across the board, guaranteeing that any 3-drop can be going down to 2.
You probably have a pretty thin. You probably have a good hand to be able to determine what you do. I almost feel like you'd want to have the turn skip be on 4. Like play him on 3. Turn 1 3 activated, and then on 5 you're not forced to play like a 2 and I don't know. You can maybe make it work a little bit better than going into 6. Not all the time, but I feel like. What does that look like if you do it on 4 compared to 5? Either way, I get what you're saying. I think both these could be very interesting in Surfer. Like, we're going to have some new Surfer builds coming out, and that definitely excites me.
And it's kind of cool, too, with Warlock that, like, even if you're just off curve, but you're open, the rest of your hand, like, you're like, oh, I'm off curve on turn 4, but I have, like, Spider Woman on 5 and Hulk on 6. You're like, well, I may as well just activate this now because I know my curve out on 6 and 5, right? And then maybe you top deck something you can use.
Bro, this card art, the variants are already going to be just slapping. Listen, bro, if this one doesn't get you excited, I know the next one. Alex, read it for the viewers. Next card up.
It's Jocasta, which I think is how that would be pronounced, is a 3/3. It reads, activate. Immediately activate your other cards here without using up their activate abilities.
Yo, this is a crazy card, bro. This is so fun, man. This is awesome. I think this is exactly what we've needed for the archetype.
Yes. And the fact that it's statted at 3/3, which obviously is a very weak stat line, showcases how powerful this can be. I think, now we're going to go through some synergies, but there's something that really came to mind that I want to say right off the top that makes Jocasta a very interesting card.
Okay.
And it's the fact that Jocasta will allow activates to activate played on turn 6. So if you have Jocasta in a location and you hold Fenris Wolf in your hand, you could play Fenris Wolf into Jocasta, activate Jocasta, and force the Fenris Wolf to activate. It's the only way you could get an activate to pump on the last turn of the game without actually clicking the button.
What do you give this as a star rating?
I'm going with a 4, and that's because I had synergies, but I'm very concerned about how the end of turn activate style archetypes are going to look like by the time we get to Jocasta's release, because I think that she has the potential to be an absolutely phenomenal card.
I think there's this card's going to be great. I like it at a 4. I think that this card is going to be able to is future proof because there's a lot of activate coming. Yep. We know that it's going to continue to come. And even something like Fenris Wolf, who we hated, then look at what he became. But even things like, go into Kid Omega, Scarlet Spider, there's just cool stuff that you can try to pull off. Heck, Bullseye, like where it's like, what does that look like, and how do you make that work? Now, being turn order and when you play him and how you play him, that's gonna have to be something that's experimented with. I think I love her more for the future than I do right this moment, but it's definitely a card that activate is needed.
Say the line. What's she gonna age like?
Like fine beer.
How dare you?
You had one job. Yeah, I was going for that. But yeah, I think I'm going more for the 4 here, and bonus points for not calling it Jocasta. I think Alex, you deserve a small clap for that as well. But
thank you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, definitely cool things you could work out. Invisible Woman, obviously, how crazy she's been is going to be a clear cut stupid card with this at times. So it has its ability to have crazy pop off, but I think the creativity here is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like it's one of those cards that like today I'm like I haven't started the deck building side of it yet. And as it gets closer, I think especially as the meta shakes and shifts, Jocasta's ability and applicability is going to become more obvious. Like right now, today, this is a card that is it's such a combo piece for those types of cards. Yeah. We need to see what the meta is. Now, it's always going to be relevant because of the way it works. It almost feels like adjacent to Invisible Woman First Steps, where it's a support card that's fully reliant on the abilities of the cards it's interacting with. You know what I mean? And for that reason, I think Jocasta could be potentially powerful. But what really surprises me, it's a 3/3. They released Invisible Woman First Steps at 3/5, and that card has been relatively meta dominant. Why is Jocasta 2 power weaker?
I think just in the future, everything that could come out with it, and obviously Cobra. They can't have that synergy be too good. To have Cobra destroy 2 created cards, Alex, like. We can't have a one deck meta. Yeah, you can't have a one deck meta. That's why we gave big shout outs to Glenn over there. But next up, buddy, this is just, man, look at this beautiful card right here. Love it. This is gonna be the next Jeff, the Land Shark. 2 cost 1 power card. Awesome Andy. Awesome Alex. Activate. Give one of your cards at each other location plus 2 power, Alex. Sure. I think it's fine. It's a card. I don't think it's a good card. It's not a bad card. It's not a good card. I think it's if you have it and you play it down and you get a 2/5, maybe you can use Jocasta on it. Maybe you throw
so you don't think this is bad?
I don't think it's a horrible. I don't think it's a 1. I don't think it's a 1. I think it's a 2.
Okay. I was going to say, if you gave it like a 3 or 4, I'd be like,
like a 3.5.
What are we doing? I know you're tired, but come on, bro. This is like this. That like meme, like, oh, we have blank at home. This is Herbie at home. Like, to me, this is so inferior to Herbie, and Herbie's struggling to see play right now, despite it being a good card.
But Herbie doesn't look as handsome.
This guy's pretty swole.
He's pretty swole.
But I don't know. He looks like he can give a good headbutt.
His
like
face
that.
card,
I'll give him that.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Yeah, his and I love his hello necklace. I might have to. You should cosplay as this guy for Halloween.
Yeah,
you can pull it off.
That's actually a good idea. Do I look like awesome Alex?
You do. You could pull it off. Put the hello on there and all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does he have 6 fingers on his right? No, that's chalk. Okay, never mind.
I was gonna say AI generated confirmed.
Doesn't that look like one of his fingers? But
he's definitely holding chalk because he drew hello on the chalkboard.
He's holding it like it's just a little awkward. Yeah, it's just weird for the stat line. I don't know. I think you should have a higher payoff for the risk factor. And yeah, you can do things with the plus 2 power and giving that. Maybe this is your on-curve surfer card that you were waiting for. No.
I don't think that's it. Even so, it's like, what was the risk of this being 2/3? Like, why does it have to be 2/1? Like, I don't understand the stat. Like, it just does not seem like a high-risk card. Like, I understand, plus 2, that's technically to 2/5 if it goes out. But like, bro, what are we doing here?
The Ravona synergy, Alex. The Ravona synergy.
Oh, it's Ravona synergy.
Omega Sentinel here.
You just bounced right off and you're like,
Right out of it.
Screw
Goodbye, Andy. 4-3. Omega here is going to have activate, inflict the highest power enemy card with -7 power. Wow. That's kind of cool. You know, it's like you're not Shang-Chiing it and killing it completely, but you are putting -7 on it, and it can work on any, it can work on anything that's over there, and that can definitely turn the tides of battle. It is a 4-cost card with an activate ability, so that's a little scary, and it's only 3 power, Alex. So it's got its cons, but I think it does have its pros too.
So there's a couple things that came to mind. First of all, this looks like Claw and Nebula's child. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But I will say, doesn't it look exactly like if Nebula and Claw had a baby?
No, yeah, no, it's exactly that. That's the lore, bro.
Is that the actual lore?
Yeah, they had like 3 kids.
Wait, Claw and Nebula?
Yeah, they had 3. I forgot the name of the other 2, but they had 3 or 4 kids.
You're not joking. They're canonically like
I thought
together?
you were joking when you said Omega looks like their kid. I was like, oh, well, yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I had no idea. Why would Nebula have any sort of romantic relationship with Claw? Claw's like a legit bad guy.
Well, what is Nebula?
Isn't Nebula in some like storylines of Guardians? She's in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, more of
I guess she had to get there.
More of like a gray Jedi kind of thing.
Yeah, like a Vegeta.
Yeah, there you go.
Had to find her way.
Someone comment the other 2 kids down in the comments below, the names of them. Listen, when you look at this card, Alex, Jocasta throwing out 14 power over there, maybe an Ajax deck. I like the highs of it, but the lows do scare me.
Okay, so once a month I go for a home run swing, right? Where I kind of put a big bet down that everyone can get mad about, or like, just roast me on nonstop. I think Omega Sentinel might be low key one of the best of the month.
I think that's a good. I like the call. I like.
You like it? Okay, hold on.
I
thought I was going hot here. I'm going 4.5. Like I really like this card a lot.
So
I think 4.5 is high, maybe 4. Yeah, I'll go 4.5. Let's see what happens.
So does my only question of concern is you just went on about how only 2 turns of play to get the relevance out, does scare you. It's the same thing here, right? I mean, it's the exact.
It is.
Okay, so that doesn't scare you the same as.
All right, fine, 4.
You
just to make it 4.5 to 4 cuz cozy.
Okay.
That's what I just typed.
Fair enough. Yeah, I want to go 3.5. I think that the 2 turns are tough, but other than that, it's a home run hit. I mean, this card is going to be great. A -7 swing is awesome. Playing that down is going to dramatically change. They do get to plan around it too. Like they see this come down, and they're going to have some time to react on turn 6, right? Like in some form or fashion. But doesn't mean they can react. I'm just saying they could if they wanted to switch lanes. But this, this is such a cool lane.
Oh, no, you just said something that's important though, because I think everyone's going to read it that way. I've read this over and over again, and it took me a while to realize it doesn't specify the lane. I think it'll hit any card on the board. And I'm so glad you said that, because I bet you a ton of people thought that too. And I had to take my glasses off and read it again. It doesn't specify the lane, dude. I think it's battlefield wide.
It is battlefield wide for sure. They would put it. They would say in this location or whatever. You're right. That is pretty cool. It's still the 2 turns scare me, but I do think that this is a very good. This is a great tech piece that's going to work. That if it was like a 3 would be like there's like 3 with lower power, it would be way too good. So because of the turns you would have to activate it. This is one of those though that if you draw it on curve, your chances of winning go up so high. Like I feel like that's just, and if you don't, and it's like a turn 6 draw, it's like damn. But will it win you more than it loses? Certainly.
Yeah, and one thing I should also mention is we just talked about Jocasta, right?
Yeah, that's a crazy
Jocasta
combo.
can double dip on this, and remember, because it's not specifying the lane, it'll hit 2 different targets. Because if it's 2 different procs, one will go down -7, and it's very unlikely that card's still the remaining highest power card, and it'll drop another card by -7. So you might even attack 2 locations doing that. It's a little more on the random side. But what I was thinking about too is 4-3 naturally is the line for Shang-Chi. Now Shang-Chi has a higher high, but also has a lower floor. You can miss with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is also reserved for turn 6. Whereas this here, even if they never play a 10 power card, will always hit something, right? And so I feel like Shang-Chi, as annoying as that card is, and it has a amazingly high ceiling, especially with what Fenris does, but Fenris got nerfed. Omega Sentinel probably has a higher floor than Shang-Chi does. because no matter what, the effect, provided it's out on turn 3, 4, or 5 if you have Zabu, it's always good. Unless they have Luke Cage, I guess.
So you play out like Lasher, okay? And then you do Jocasta. So you nuke that lane. You can put something else in there too. You nuke that lane. And then you have Omega Sentinel in there that gets the activate. You do Sentinel before the Jocasta. And then you kill that lane, you kill the other lanes, and they're left with hoping they have Luke Cage. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Just Luke Cage Cove. This card's going to suck on the release.
Oh,
actually, not even. Because it's not even in the
back.
Series 5 packs, right? So it just slides into Series 4, and I think there's so many cards coming out at once that most people don't even pay attention to these.
That's true, and it doesn't come out with any other negative cards, at least. So, like, it's like kind of in its own merit for that. Interesting. I like it. I think this is a good take. I think I like the take there. That this
You like the take?
that this thing could be pretty good.
I know you're looking to move on, but I do want one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wonder if it's going to be good in Ajax. It's probably fine.
I think so.
Yeah, but it's going to compete with like Malekith and Man-Thing. And I think that those cards might be better for that. Because like this is cool because it's a very vertical hit, right?
Yeah.
It almost feels like oh wait, is there Galactus synergy here?
I
Wait,
just like that
if
it's
you
another
activate
lane.
this. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like if they put a power, no, that's too cheeky. I was just thinking, what if you debuff something in the Galactus lane and then throw the Galactus down? But what I'm trying to say is that the 4 cost, Man-Thing hits more cards, right? And so Ajax benefits from more cards. Malekith pulls the now 3-costed Luke Cage or 3-costed Hazmat or Luke Cage or whatever. So I wonder if those cards are just more valuable for the Ajax decks. But yeah, Cerebro 3.
Cerebro 3, it's an awesome cook. I think this is such a fun card for Cerebro 3. Why not, you know? No, it's just it's purely built for that in some ways, which is why Claw back in the day. Anyway, we've got next up Super, is it Adaptoid? Wasn't Super Adaptoid? Adaptoid. Oh, yes. I missed the D.
There's a D?
Yeah,
Adaptoid.
Adaptoid. Yeah, I don't know why I missed that second letter in there. Dude, this is a cool looking hero. I like this guy.
This reminds me of Beetleborgs. Do you remember those?
Yeah, dude. Wow. Okay. That's a
shout out. Yeah, I know.
I was going to go, yeah, something out of Ninja Turtles, but yeah, maybe that's just because the green's overwhelming, or like a RuneScape armor. It's a 3-cost, 5-power card. On reveal, steal the text from an enemy activate card here. So you've got great power at 3/5. Activates a lot of the time. You like to wait for that to come out. You want to wait for it. This is a very needed tech piece in which I think could be a complicated activate meta that could happen eventually with these cards coming out. And 3/5. This is good. I mean, this is gonna be a good little counterplay here.
This is cool. I like this card a lot. I want this card.
Yep.
Now, I think it's probably going to release as a 3, but this is another Age Like Fine Wine card.
Yep.
And I also want to give Second Dinner credit here. They're also releasing a Series 4 tech piece into a season where they're adding tons of activate cards.
Yeah.
So we don't have to wait an entire month. So if one of them goes crazy or pop off or whatever, there is going to be a lesser expensive tech option. So this is good design by the Second Dinner team. This is player friendly design from a release standpoint. So thank you for that. This could have been a Series 5, like a Red Guardian or whatever, and it could have been frustrating. So that they deserve credit on that. Super Adaptoid is purely a Age Like Fine Wine card. Yeah, I think that this is the kind of card that's always going to get better as new activates come out.
I don't think he's fantastic now. Mainly because if you think about it, the ones and the 2 activates, like you have Fenris, you have some other cards that can fit in there. But you need them to play him, and then if you play him and you have him in your hand at that time, then you can steal it early. Most of the time, you're not playing him on 3, though. Almost, I would say a good chunk of the time, unless you have something out there that you want to kind of take early, like the Herbie or whatever. The Invisible Woman, so maybe you play him on 4, and then you're playing an undercard. Like, it's a very interesting card, and I think it is going to be better as it continues. And sometimes you don't even want the activate ability as well, like in the case of, I don't know, Kid Omega. So, like, it's interesting, but I also think it will get a lot better in the future. Just like
so they play, like, your opponent plays down Asshat Andy, and then you play Super Adaptoid on top, steal the +2 power, activate. But like, here's the thing. So I was thinking about this. This is a 3/5, right? It's basically the Rogue of activate. Rogue is a 3/2. Like, the stats are wildly different. Now, obviously, Rogue gets more stuff.
way better ongoing cards, out there. I think is really, but not to say that this thing doesn't, like, this could very well get nerfed one day just because there's so many better activate stuff in the future.
As activates come down, as activates come out, this goes to 3-4, to 3-3, then 3-2.
Yeah, it just continues to go down as they get better. But for now, 3-5 is where they found the balance. What do you have him at?
I have him down as 3, and then I said 4-star eventually.
Yeah, I think he could be potentially
I don't know if he ever hits
worse.
4-star.
I think he's 2.
Yeah.
I think he's 2.5. It goes to 3.5.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that more. Okay. I'll stick with 3 because that's what I had said, but I agree. I think your range is approximately correct. It'll age fine.
Danger is our last card coming in Deadpool's Diner at 4 cost, I believe. 4 cost 6 power card. Activate. Destroy an enemy card here with less power. Very interesting card that can build quite nicely. I always like when they get the game mode cards to kind of synergize with season pass cards and what you can build it in. What's your thoughts on Danger?
I'm not sold on this one. I'm going 2 stars on Danger. I don't think this is great. First of all, 4-6 is not a great stat line. You are unable to target the card you destroy. You activate, you destroy a card. You're like, well, you can destroy a Surtur that hasn't procced yet, a 3-5 or whatever. That's 5. That's basically a 4 or 11. But yeah, but what if they have a hood sitting there, right? Like, you can't target. So what if someone played Squirrel Girl and there's squirrels everywhere? What if they're playing hood, as I said? Like, I think the inability to target really prevents this card from being good, especially at a 4-6 where there's so many 4-10 borderline stat lines.
Yeah, and if you could prioritize their highest power, like if it was in ascending order, then it's like, oh, cool. Like, totally you could build decks that are unique to this. But for sure, and there's just so many decks that spam out cards and you just have no control over it. And you can even just Red Guardian it a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and shut that down, whatever it might be. Not for this card, but for the card maybe you're even wanting to target. So I think it's cool. I think there are ways you can build it and do get that benefit off of it, but yeah, I'm not too wild about it unless, I don't know, maybe you throw it into a Fenris. It's just weird. I don't know. It's got a couple like a 2. We're giving it a 2.
Yeah, I'm 2. Like, I think LDS is simply better. Like, I would rather play LDS. Like, she's more expensive, but I don't like this card. I don't think it's a good one.
So top to bottom, brother, let's rank the cards for the season. Number 1, I think we both have the same.
So first of all, I forgot to write this all down. I usually plan this in advance, and that's like
I have no idea. This. Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Okay, so we're just gonna both riff it. Okay, that's good. All right, top card for me is gonna be Viv Vision.
Viv Vision. Okay. Viv is gonna be my top as well.
I lean towards, even though my rankings don't. Oh, see, this is where it gets tricky. I like Omega Sentinel more, but I don't think Omega Sentinel is necessarily better than Sparky. And I wonder if the next card I would rank is actually going to be Warlock.
I was going to say Warlock's my 2.
Really? Mm-hmm. I can see, here's the thing. I can see Sparky being better than Warlock, but I like Omega Sentinel better than both. But I think Warlock probably is ultimately across the game going to be better. So I'd go Warlock 2.
I'll go Omega 3.
Is you an Omega Sentinel 3?
Mm-hmm.
I like it more than Sparky, but I think Sparky might be better. I'll do Sparky 3.
And then I'll trade you Sparky. I'll have Sparky after that.
And then I'll do the Omega Sentinel. It's funny how we rank these sometimes, because Omega Sentinel, I have the higher star rating, but like that's because I just like the card. I like the design.
Okay.
One of these days we'll figure out what these star ratings actually mean.
One of the days. Jocasta's next up for me.
Jocasta, I agree. Yes, Jocasta's next for me as well.
Bastion is next.
Bastion versus Moira X. I would go Bastion over Moira X.
You like Moira X over Super?
I would. That's actually hard. Moira versus the Super Adaptoid. I think that right now Moira's better, but you probably want Super Adaptoid eventually.
Yeah, I'll go Super Adaptoid, Moira, and then I'll end with Danger. And then Danger, and then end with Human Torch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Human Torch. Wait, you just jumped through. You missed a card as well.
No, yeah.
You missed Asshat Handy.
Oh God, yeah. Put in Asshat Handy right above. Ooh. Yeah, put it below Danger.
No, I'm confused as hell. All right, I'm gonna say Moira, Adaptoid. I would go then Danger, and then Asshat Handy.
And then the Human Torch.
I don't think Awesome Andy's good. I don't think that card's good at all.
And then Human Torch.
Oh, Human Torch too. I forgot about Human Torch. Yeah, I think Human Torch sucks. If the Fallen One stuff works, he's better. But I'm thinking it might not.
That's fair.
I don't know. We need to find out.
There's so many cars that come out now. It's just so crazy. It's like it's just wild how many they pump out in one season, bro. But we did it. We went through them all. We will be held accountable for them, guys. Give me a mega episode here on this beautiful Monday. Any last things you want to add before the season? Before we jump into the Snapchat mailbag?
I just think that for what it's worth, I think that Second Dinner's design team did cook. These are good cards. I think that they're also flavorful, like the way Moira works, right? Based on her superpowers as a mutant, which kind of like recalls past lives and stuff like that. And then you have Bastion, the way he works, creating Sentinels in the hand, essentially at 2/3s. A lot of care went into the design here, and I think that's cool. I think we can jump into the mailbag. There's some fun stuff here.
All right, hit us with the mailbag questions, Mr. Alex.
All right. So this is actually kind of funny. So first of all, the Portland Kevin said, it was great to meet Alex, Dexter, and Gregor and some of the Second Dinner team at PAX. Alex brought that perfect teacher energy that got us all excited, but still reined it in at the same time. It was an awesome time, and Cozy should be flying up next year.
Did they go back and comment on the Snapchat episode about that? That's very nice then. I will most definitely be going to a PAX here soon. A, because I love Magic. B, because Alex, I love Alex. Two things that I love. How are we not starting with the quesadilla enchilada? We got to just get right. What? Come on.
There were not many comments about that actually.
About the enchiladas. That's I find that hard.
No,
to believe.
there was a comment though about. Okay, I'll have to dig deeper.
I'm going to it right now.
You're gonna try. You don't believe me? You're gonna try to hunt it down?
There's no way.
Okay. In the meantime, while you hunt, we do have a question from Big Owl 420, which is a fantastic name. I love that so much. And it is about food, though, and I have a little story about this. Normally, I'm on the side of Alex just waffling, but I fully understand chicken balls. Might be a UK thing, but chicken balls that you dip in sweet and sour sauce are legit. We also have sweet and sour Hong Kong style, which is like deep fried chicken pieces in sweet and sour sauce. So, the story that goes along with this. I had the absolute privilege of having dinner with a team from China, right? Who are huge fans of the Snapchat. Cozy, huge fans of the Snapchat.
Okay.
And they said, Alex, we keep hearing about these Chinese chicken balls. We have no idea what they are. And as soon as they said, I'm thinking like, if the team from China doesn't know what I'm talking about, I think I'm going to take an L here, right?
Take the L.
So I'm like, all right, guys. So I pulled it up on my phone and I showed them the chicken balls. And they all just started howling, just laughing. And they're like, no, that is definitely like an American invention thing. Like that's not Chinese.
I'm not even 1% surprised at this. Like not even one. That'd be like showing, I don't know, someone who has never seen McDonald's and they make burgers, they grill on the grill and they're like, oh yeah, here's a great burger too. Check this out. And it's the paper thin garbage. But listen, enough of this. I went straight to this video, bro, the last Snapchat. All the comments off the board, top of the board. They're not questions. They're just statements. I'm going to read them. First up, I'm not even going to say the names. You got every time I think I can relate to Alex, he says something like a quesadilla is like an omelet. All right. So that's number one. All right.
Oh, I just realized what I did. I made a mistake. I went to the Q&A section on my prior video.
What do you mean?
That's why I made a mistake. Because we talked about the enchiladas on yours. Yes. Oh, that's my mistake. I pulled the wrong question batch.
No. This is on yours. The enchilada was last week.
What? I just didn't see it then.
No, you're crazy. No, listen to this, bro. Next up, Alex not knowing what enchiladas or quesadillas are hilarious. Top comment under that is, it's like an omelet. I think that was the omelet comparison is what sent people. And that truly, I think, and then literally, just I can keep going. This is in ascending order. Alex not knowing what a quesadilla is actually absolutely crazy. And I can keep going. So, Alex, I do want to say they were there. They were in there. And as a Mexican, hearing Alex say that real tacos he had bread and that quesadillas are like omelets, he gave me an aneurysm. All right, that's... that was a great one. That was a good question there. I like that one. And they're not even questions. They're just statements. I don't even think people had questions. They were just like, this is what has to happen. Don't worry, guys. When he comes to San Diego for TwitchCon, I'm going to get this man fed.
It's so funny, man. That is so hilarious.
You got another Snapchat?
All right, we got a couple more. But before we get into them, if you notice the white dot right near my face there, I want you to comment white dot gameplay because it happens every once in a while.
Yeah. They made it this long in the session. White dot. Go ahead.
Yeah. So our guy boy said, did anyone else see a bundle in the shop with 4 Series 5 collector's packs and a ton of boosters? The bundle said it would be there for 5 days and it got taken away near immediately.
Oh, bro. Yeah, dude, it wouldn't be a Snapchat. There wasn't just like a random second dinner L. Yeah, didn't they release this pack? This is another thing I saw on Twitter. It's like they released this pack, bro. I kid you not. Like, I'm on Twitter. I see like second dinner W. Like, they listen, they love. And then they released a statement that pack should not have been released.
Yeah, so I was live on stream. I pulled it up. I think it was like $69 Canadian, which is probably $50 American. It must have been like around $10 a card range, plus a whole bunch of boosters and stuff. Series 5, $10 per Series 5. It was such a W. I was like, this is actually like really good value. And then it was gone and they apologized. Like, that to me is crazy. I was like, guys, come on. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, they gotta invent their own L's at some point, right? Like, they're just like, hey guys, we haven't had everyone pissed off at us in 2 weeks. We have to do something.
We got it. You guys know the work motto here. Bring the L's weekly. They do it. Hit us with the last question.
The last one, it goes off of a comment that you had made last week, Cozy, and it's from Jason B, who said, not even joking, I would never watch a Shang-Chi movie or read a comic now, all because of Snap.
There it is. I knew someone. I knew that, and you're not alone. I'm sure there are more of you out there, and soon there'll be Sparky fans or Sparky hatred, and who knows what Omega Sentinel. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming over to the Snapchat and the longer episode of ranking these cards. I will say I'm most likely out for the next couple episodes between my child being born and I will be doing some casting work on our recording days, which is going to be tough, but I will be back. I will be ready and excited for it. I will be naming my second kid after Alex Kocha and name him Omelet. Guys, thank you for coming. Have a good one. Have a great one. Subscribe to Alex. To the next one. Happy snapping.